So, I will be going over voice modes. Now, these are generally you can find in your dash at the top left. It's on the very top, you can see it on any page, and there's going to be a few different options, and they all do different things, which I will go over. So, the first option is going to be the red one. Now, if you click this, if this is selected, then you are muted. Nobody can hear you. Your mouth won't be moving, and you will be completely silent. So the next one, it's going to be purple, and that is your whisper bubble. Your whisper bubble is going to surround you. It's going to be, well, quite literally a bubble. And inside of this bubble, you cannot be heard by people outside of the bubble. So say I wanted to have a private conversation with somebody, and we were in a session, but we didn't want people to hear our conversation. Then we would both turn on our whisper bubbles and be within proximity of each other so we can hear each other within our bubbles. So if I have my bubble on, let's say mine is made of honey. Um, you can make your whisper bubble into different materials and stuff. Normally it will be purple by default. So when I have my whisper bubble up, I can still hear people outside of my bubble, but they are very muffled, extremely muffled. It is hard to hear people outside of my own bubble. If people are outside of my bubble, they will not be able to hear me talk within my own bubble. If somebody were to step into my whisper bubble, then they'd be able to hear me normally. Sort of think of the bubble as like a sound barrier, say. Now, be a little bit careful about this, because if you're having a conversation with somebody and your bubble is on, but theirs is not, although they can hear you in your own bubble if they're standing within it with you, their responses when you're talking with them, if they don't have their bubble up, other people will be able to hear them, despite the fact that they're in your own bubble. They also have to have their bubble up in order for their voice to be blocked outside. This green one right here is just normal. It's the normal talking as you hear me now, and so it's not overly loud, it's not overly quiet, it's just the regular stuff. Yell and shout, it is like regular in the fact that it is directional. So if I went into shout, I would be much louder. However, people would still be able to tell which direction my audio is coming from. So say I were teaching a class over in the lecture hall, and I wanted to be much louder so people in the seats could hear me, but I would still want them to be able to tell where my voice is coming from. I would use the yell and shout mode. So broadcast, this is if I wanted to let the entire world, the entire session, know that we're about to do something, such as a group picture, basically saying to everybody, hey, this is happening, they will be able to hear it. If you go into broadcast, everybody will be able to hear you in their head. It will be a direct link to everybody. So I highly recommend do not go into broadcast unless you want everybody in the entire world to hear what you're saying. And even then, only when it is called for. I would recommend only mods and admins of the session do this. So please be aware of which one you're in. It is very easy to mess up. Fortunately, it is on the top left of your dash, and it's pretty easy to see as long as you just open up your dash real quick. You can see up there which one is selected.